Hi, fellow traders. That's right. I am introducing the new AJT ass kicking machine. This was designed specifically for me to help get me back on track. And what happens is my head somehow gets into my ass, and I need a couple swift kicks to get it to come back up where it belongs. So it's going to be two models. One, you'll be able to operate it yourself, but I think that's the coward's way. The second one, you're going to be able to get your spouse or significant other to pedal it like a bicycle, and the harder they pedal it, the harder you get kicked. And I think that's going to be the most effective way, because they're going to want to kick you. You're going to need to get kicked. So everything works hand in hand. But once you see what the hell I've been doing the last couple of days, you're going to realize why I need something like this to jump on from time to time. You know, and if I do this before I start, going too far with it day after day, then I'm going to keep my equity curve going where it needs to be. And I'll be, okay with it. We all go backwards sometimes. We all have things that go on, other things that happen outside of trading that can subconsciously affect what we do. There's so many things that can creep in, especially a professional trader who's under a lot more pressure, so to speak. So even though they may not be trading their money, their performance, their job is really based on their performance. So, we all go through these things. But if I had something like this, that when I felt it, I can all of a sudden, correct it and kick my head back up out of my ass, I'll be just fine. All right, so before we get to our trades, I want you guys to remind me tomorrow. Today we didn't have the class. Tomorrow we're having the second Trading Aftermarket earnings announcements. And that's going to be a real-time, class while the market is open. We're going to start at 3 o'clock and go through the process. I'm going to take you through my process, just like I take you through scanning every morning and, vetting the stocks. I'm going to take you through that as I do this aftermarket earnings, what I'm looking for, my thoughts as it's going into the close. Hopefully we will have some stocks to trade. The last 2 days, the pickings have not been there, but we are wrapping up earnings season. So hopefully we'll get one or two tomorrow that we can really vet and track into the close, and possibly actually trade. That's what I need really to get me going. I haven't had any good earnings announcement trades. Today, I had an awesome one and just completely botched the day. Just crapped all over the day. And like I said, I need that machine right now because I need to get kicked multiple times in rapid succession very hard, because my head seems to be lodged down there, and it needs to get kicked up. So, but tomorrow, remind me to record this. If you're not here in chat, it is recorded and it will be posted later on tomorrow evening. But if you're here, remind me to start recording, because if I have a challenging day, I may be ready to forget everything and I may forget to hit record. So you guys remind me. All right, so let's start with yesterday. Yesterday was when things really started unraveling a little bit. Now, this first SFIX trade, I actually made money on, but it was complete luck. And that's what happens sometimes. Your execution may be really, really crappy. And we've always said, is, you don't have to be good or have to have a strategy in order to make money on a trade. But you do if you want to be consistently profitable and grow your account, make a living at this. Yesterday was a good sign of just pure and simple luck. So what happened was, at the last minute, I decided I'm going to trade this using the 3-minute opening range. Now, as you guys have known, have been listening, I've been working on looking at how the 3-minute opening range works versus the 5-minute in these market conditions. Now, one of the key things about once you have a strategy and it works very well, all you need to do is adapt it to market conditions, the changing conditions, and then have it to where you can go from, this configuration when the market is like this, or like summertime trading, to the next configuration. If you need to change time frames, that'll be just a quick minor adjustment that you can always come back to. Now, if you start changing everything, then your strategy is not going to be a strategy anymore. It's going to be a big pile of what. So we have to not make too many changes. So I'm looking at still an opening range, but changing the time frame a little bit to see if I can get a little more profit locked in if the stock doesn't follow through on, like, say, a 5-minute opening range. So at the last minute, I decided to get a 3-minute opening range. So I was late getting in because I decided at the last minute, which is stupid. I had a 5-minute plan. That was a plan I should have stuck with. But, again, my head is in my ass and I'm just doing stupid stuff. So I get in, actually get the first target. It comes back, stops me out at, was stopping me out at break even. But no, I still had the 300 shares in the montage. So when I executed my order, my sell order to get out, it covered the last 150 shares, but then added 150 shares short. So I kind of hung on to it to see if we were going to come down. And sure enough, we came down to the VWAP. And, I took some off at the VWAP. And, I took the 150 shares off at the VWAP and was out of the trade. But then look at this thing, just kept selling off. So once we sold through all of this, I decided I'm going to short this. Why I didn't wait for it to come back and test, I'll never know. That's my strategy. My strategy is not to chase these things down. It's to wait until we come back and retest the major support that it broke. And I needed to reject, and then I could get short. Well, you can see this never did reject here. It just kept going. Never should have taken this trade. So a whole bunch of mistakes here, compounded by this mistake, just kind of put the day in perspective. And then I decided I'm going to try to trade. I'm going to try to trade BA here. And I did relatively well, so to speak. I shorted here, the rejection of VWAP, which was a little early. Again, I'm not operating like my normal self. I am outside of myself. Because here's a candle I should have gotten in on, not this one. But I get in, I make some money. Great. So I short this one, get back in again. Cover twice. Again, no need for me to cover here. No need for me to take this off. And I missed this huge, huge move. Really, really upset. And then I come and I'm going to short here. After we've come down all this way, I decide that I'm going to get short here. Then I end up getting stopped out. just a crappy day. Only made $38.48. Look at 14 tickets. Look at how bad when you overtrade, it hurts you when you're trading in a small account like this. You know, and your broker, you know, hits you with these high commissions. It really shows its ugly face when you're not executing right. When you're executing your trades properly and you're managing your trading day properly, commissions are a non-issue because you have not run the costs up with too many tickets for the trades that you take. You know, but in this case, I ran it up. So yesterday was just a really, really crappy day. Only made $38.48. Thinking that I would clear my mind and be ready to come in today, loaded for bear. Didn't really have any good stocks on watch. BA was the only one. And I traded it like I had no clue what the hell I was doing. And before I knew it, I'd hit my max loss. And I had to sit back and watch people make a ton of money on this. You knew it was going to bounce once it had this huge sell-off. That's what it's done the last couple of days. Once it had that big sell-off, it bounced. Could have traded this both ways. Made some good money. But no more intraday trades. Once I hit my max loss, my intraday is done. The only thing I could do at that point is look for an aftermarket earnings trade. And then you better be on point with that trade. You know, don't sit there and be real loose with that, because then you really have a bad day. So I really missed all of this, missed the fun that people had in this. But I had to take my lumps. So hit my max loss on these two trades. Only trading 50 shares. But, it was moving outside of the range. And I was dumb enough to take it, even though the average range of these four candles were a lot larger than $2.50. The stop that I could put in. So just more bonehead moves. Poor execution. And again, I know I go back to the same thing over and over again. Execution is what we can be perfect on. And that's the one thing in trading that we can perfect, is our execution. And that's the one thing that we can expect ourselves to do perfectly day in and day out. We can't predict the market. We engage in the market, with our edge, our strategy. But we can't predict what it does one way or the other. I get a lot of PMs, this stock set up, why didn't it work? Hell if I know. I don't know why it didn't work. Because I don't know who's in the market moving it one way or the other. If you've been watching BA, you've seen every time it tries to sell off real hard, this thing comes back with a vengeance. And you have people defending this that have a hell of a lot more money than we do and will risk $4 or $5 million to save 20 if this thing tanks. But you just don't know. We have to look at what's going on and try to assess and get in their heads. What are they going to do? That's my thing. What's big money going to do? Because that's whose side I want to be on. Because these are the guys at the end of the day that's taking your money. So just kind of botched that up today. And then on earnings, hold on. Take this off. We don't need that. CLDR, this was not even on my watch list. Okay, I run the scan. It wasn't on my scan because it was too cheap. It's less than $20. I don't typically trade it. Again, I'm looking for something that I can get a quick hit on and make some decent money. So I'm thinking this is going to gap up. I feel it's going to gap up, even though looking at the chart, it's telling me that it's going to go short at the close. It's telling me that it's going to go short at the close. I'm still thinking that this is going to gap up, that it's going to do the same thing that these other stocks did last week, where you would think they were going to gap down, but they ran up, and at the end of the day, they just popped up. They didn't sell off. And I'm thinking this is going to do the same thing. I changed everything about my strategy, my rules. Again, undisciplined. Everything that I've done this week has been undisciplined. Even though I managed my losses, still undisciplined. In terms of executing the trades. And here's another case where I was lucky that this thing popped up and allowed me to get out. When I realized that this wasn't working. And the next candle, the bottom fell out. So, very fortunate to, not make this day a catastrophic day. But this is one of these rare occasions where the stock, it did what the chart said it was going to do. I just traded it wrong. I made a mistake in execution. So it wasn't that the trade wasn't working or it didn't work. It was that Ed didn't work. He didn't execute it the way it was supposed to be executed. And Ed wasn't supposed to be trading this stock, period. So that was a double whammy. The stock that I should have been trading was the only stock that hit my scan. Only one hit it. And then it barely hit it because it had just got over the 750,000 shares traded today. But it did just what we wanted it to do for a gap up. It did just what we wanted it to do. And it gapped up. How many points did it gap up? Okay, I would have got in like I was supposed to. Would have been around 104, between 103 and 104. Look, it went all the way up to 123. 20 points. I'm thinking I don't want to do 100 shares because, I got this. I've hit my max loss. I need to try to make that back and then some. So if I can get 2 points on 500 shares, that's $1,000. On this lower price stock, that'll be great. Okay, flawed thinking. So now you know the story. Now you know the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, and why I need that machine really bad. So, I think I'm going to go to the gym and, kick my own butt for a little while and do something. I mean, I have to punish myself because this is ridiculous. To have the month that we had last month, to finish the year as strong as we finished the year, to, end up trading like this week is just, it's a product of letting last week get in my head. And I'm just not executing. So back to the drawing board. Looking to come out tomorrow with the right mindset. We're gonna binge watch some Mark Douglas here, and see if I can turn the right wrenches. So you guys have a great night, great evening, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.